Today, I'm sharing the good, the bad, and the cheese, literally, from the freeze drying that I've done over the last couple weeks. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sutton's Days. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. We are all about pantry preparedness. And as you know, I have been on the freeze drying journey. And I thought I was never going to find a rhythm. I really thought that was going to be the case. It is definitely a different rhythm for me than dehydrating or canning or anything else. And so I was riding the struggle bus a little bit and getting a little bit frustrated. But then it all changed. When I did the cheese haul video, 26 pounds of cheese, and I mentioned how I was shredding some of it, and I was showing you how I was putting it in the trays to put in the freeze dryer. I did 4 different kinds of cheese, 4 different trays, yay. And I freeze dried it. I automatically, based on different things that I have been reading, put an extra 24 hours on it just to make sure that it was dry. And whew, have I got a story for you. But the cheese came out amazing. It came out so good. I am so happy with it that I immediately went back, got the rest of the Monterey Jack cheese, shredded it up, and freeze dried that too. I was so super happy. I mean, I didn't think I'd be that happy, but very happy with that whole process. And then I looked at the machine and went, oh yeah, got to clean you out. So I put it off for a day because I was intimidated. I am not a mechanical type person, and electronics tend to flummox my brain a little bit, but I'm like, I can do this. Follow the directions, read the manual, Lisa, And so I did. I pulled out the compartment. I cleaned the entire thing. I cleaned the racks and plugged it back in and put it back in. And it was very easy. So don't let it hold you back. I was at first afraid to pull the gasket off the front of the machine because I'm like, I'll never get it back on there the way that it came. You do. You absolutely do. Don't let it intimidate you if you're anything like me. And yeah, you can do it. But that I cleaned it, and then I did the last batch of cheese. And cheese causes dust, okay? It has cheese dust. So I just thought it was a good time to clean it out after that first thing of cheese. So then I did the second thing of cheese after I cleaned it out. Then I'm like, okay, we got to get back to the freezer and get that stuff out of the freezer. So I grabbed some, what did I grab? Peppers. Yes. So I grabbed some peppers. I've still got a little bit of peppers in the freezer that I needed to get addressed, that I would like to get out of the freezer because they take up space. And so I filled the trays. I started the machine. I let it do its warm-up thing, until it says load the trays. I loaded the trays. Life is good. It went through the whole freezing process, and then it aired out, saying that it couldn't achieve a vacuum. What? Well, at that point, I was really tired and in a lot of pain. So just like, I'm not in the mood for you today. So I took all the trays out, put it back in the freezer. The next day I came out, looked at it. We might have had a few choice words, And then I tried to do it again. Nope, air it out again. Took the trays out, put them back in the freezer. So then I said, okay, sit down and read the manual. Sat down, read the manual. And it said, you probably need an oil change. Well, the oil, to my eyes, did not look like an issue. But I said, okay, fine. So I filtered out the oil, and I put brand new oil in there because I'm not a pro at this oil filtering thing. I mean, I used the filter that they sent, and I've still got it, but I very much want to learn more about that, and I was not in the headspace when I was there. So I put brand new oil exactly to the level where it's supposed to be. I closed everything all up and started it all over again, loaded the trays again, and it aired out again. Not playing this game. So I took the trays back out, put them back in the freezer, said a few more choice words to the machine, called it a day, said just too busy, don't have time for this. And I did complain a little bit, and I said, this, yeah. Well, the next day, I came back down again. I had a few choice words with it. I took the gasket off the front door. I put it back on. I went down with my stool and a flashlight to the pump, And I noticed that the cap to the oil was on crooked. I'm like, oh my God, that's what it is, right? So I took it up, I put it on straight, and I started the machine, and it errored out again. Okay, so then I got my flashlight and I went back down again, and oh, look at the oil filter's loose. I tightened down the oil filter, started it again, got it going again, errored out again. Like, this is not funny. I am not having a good time. So at that point I went, what can I possibly lose, right? So I took the gasket off and I pulled the compartment out and I unplugged it and I replugged it back in and I put it back into the machine. I put the gasket back on. I started it all over again, and voila, I have freeze-dried bell peppers. I have no idea. I have literally no idea. It did not look like it was loose to me. It did not. I don't know, but it took me about a week to get that thing to the point where it freeze-dried anything, because I didn't have hours to sit there and deal with it. That was the bell peppers. Then I decided, okay, we got to keep going. So I looked through and saw, okay, I've got peas, all my peas that I harvested this year, and I could use the space in the freezer much better than that. So I'm going to freeze dry them, because it's not like I use peas a whole bunch, because Phil won't let me put them in stuff, but otherwise they'd be in everything. So I decided I'm going to freeze dry my peas. And in the meantime, I had placed an order because my mind was ticking through this, just not, as well as it should have. So I went and I ordered 8 more trays. I had 8. I ordered 8 more trays, 8 more liners, 8 more lids. And this is the process that I am going to be doing moving forward, because all of a sudden it has clicked. Now, it may have needed the entire meltdown, but it clicked, and this is how I'm going to make the process work for me. We are going to, so in the freezer, I managed to get all the peas out and load all the trays and have them stacked up in the freezer. I can't tell you how long it's been since that space there was empty, but it's empty, so it's working. So now when I take the ones out of the freeze dryer, I can defrost it and then immediately put these in. That's done, it's taken care of, and I can go back to loading more trays. But wait, the frustration does not end there. Okay, so I got that all figured out. Life's good. We are moving right along, okay? Now, I knew that I had to reorganize the pantry so that I had room to put my home freeze-dried stuff. 99% of it I'm putting directly into jars. So for me, that's because I can see it. So if there's moisture, I can see that there's a problem in theory. And that just makes me more comfortable, because I'm reading about all these failures that people are running into, and where they think that it's dried, but it's not dried enough. And I'm like, no, 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 no. We don't want that, I want to be able to see it so that I know that there's a problem. So as I am rearranging shelves, if you remember, there was a video where I showed you the zucchini in a big jar, and then I think a quart jar, and then a 8-ounce jar, because that's what I had available at the time, and I was trying to do it quick. Yeah. So I said to myself, well, let's get this organized and put all of those little jars into one big jar. Takes up less space, it's more organized, all that fun stuff. So I opened up the 8-ounce jar that had an oxygen absorber in it even. I opened that up and turned it upside down, and it all just hung in the jar. I'm like, come on, what's going on? So I put my finger in there. That's what's going on. It was still wet. I could have sworn it was dry. I mean, I really, really could have. So then I checked the other jar, still wet. Then I checked the jar that had, or not the jar, the 1 Mylar bag that I put zucchini shredded in. And yeah, wet. I was so bummed. All of that zucchini gone. So I'm not somebody who likes doing that. I want a sure deal, and it's not a sure deal, but I'm finding my way to turn it into a sure deal. And that is adding extra time. Why add extra time? Because there are the variables. And, you know, variables are what will drive you absolutely crazy. There's the variable of the weather, whether it's humid or dry or raining or whatever the case may be. Then there is the variable of the product itself. Some of it is wetter, some of it is not. Some of, you know, there's different sizes. Sometimes if it's frozen, it doesn't, for some reason, permeate all of the stuff on the tray at the same level because you've packed it in there too much. Yeah. And then there are other ones where you just don't know. And so adding extra time. The more that I'm reading, the more that I am running across people saying just automatically add an extra 24 hours. In my mind, I shouldn't have to do that. In my mind, I should also be 30 years old and a size 10, but I'm not. Okay. So that's just what we have to work with. So I automatically now have added a default extra 32 hours on. Why not just 24? Because I can go back in an extra 24 hours later and get it. I can end the cycle early. But it's rare that I am where I need to be when that thing ends. And so that gives me a cushion of being able to work around my work hours or appointments or anything else. So I make sure that I add on an extra 32 hours, I think. Yeah. And then I can always interrupt it once the whole thing has run 48 hours. So I pre-freeze everything. I don't put anything in there that's not frozen because it just adds more time. It's more of a headache. I think it gives you more opportunity for failure, actually. After reading a bunch of stuff, I'm like, why don't you just pre-freeze it? You wouldn't have the, you know, and I'm kind of second guessing what other people are asking questions about. And it seems to be a common thing that a lot of the problems are happening when the stuff inside is not pre-froze. So yeah, pre-freezing, important. Extra drying time, important. Let's go look at the pantry. I have to hold you for this one, so it might not be real steady, but I rearranged these shelves here. Uh, Phil took everything off of the top and helped me hang the curtains up there because there was a sliver of light coming through on the side that would have impacted the stuff down there. And I didn't want that. I wanted it completely dark with the freeze-dried glass there because anything that I had there before was either in closed containers or, you know, it was a non-issue. So now the curtains completely block every little sliver of light. And this is my home freeze-dried shelf. But it's not just home freeze-dried because it also has like the bananas right there that I got and showed you guys. I needed someplace to decant them, so they're in there. The diced sweet potatoes are there. But those are my peppers. That's the broccoli. That's the cranberries that I had. And then back there in the corner is the diced golden beets. And so that down there is cheese. Hang on and I'll bring it up. Cheese, please. So cheese is really good. I did not put oxygen absorbers in here. I vacuum sealed it. Why? Because I can go like that. Yes. The zucchini freaked me out. I'm not going to lie. So now I know that that's moving around. You can hear it. It's crunchy. And I know that it's not wet. You know what I mean? So the cheese turned out beautifully. I have more jars of it down there. This is the Monterey Jack. This is the Colby. And then this is the Pepper Jack, because you can see little peppers in there. And then this one is the white cheddar. Good stuff. And I'm super excited about that because it means it doesn't have to be in the refrigerator, right? Uh, this is great. Absolutely great. So that is my storage. And I've got another shelf, well, obviously down there for more jars. It's going to take me a while to get to the point where I need to make any more space than that. But that is how I'm storing my freeze-dried stuff. I'm staying out of Mylar bags for right now. Now, don't get me wrong. Mylar has this place and I use it for a lot of stuff. But with home freeze drying, I am not confident yet in the process to ensure that everything stays good. So I want to be able to see it, you know? And I kind of proved my point with the zucchini, but I did it with the jars too. So it's not, it's not foolproof, obviously, but for me, it works, and I'm visual anyway, so I kind of like it. Yeah. I am going to go get the peas. And we have peas. Yes, we do. So I did not super load these trays because, my confidence kind of took a hit when it came to the zucchini not drying all the way. Now, these, yep. I mean, I crunched it. Yes. Okay. Let me bring you down. So one of the things I want to mention while I'm thinking about it is that the sale at Harvest Right will be ending at the end of the month, at the end of September. And so if you were on the fence, this is still a really good time to grab one. And I'm dropping peas everywhere, darn it. Okay. I may break down and invest in one of those big funnels that I have seen, because then I don't have it flying all over the place, because nothing that landed on this counter can be used because I oiled the counters this morning. Yeah, there's another move from Lisa. So sometimes I just feel like I got to get my hands in there and test it. You know what I mean? So I am not going to put oxygen absorbers in. I am going to vacuum seal. And there we go. Okay. Yes. And that is how I'm going to put them up. I should be able to fit all of these into this jar and then some. Now, I am going to let the machine completely defrost. It takes about 2 hours to completely defrost. And then I will start it over again, and I will add the next tray of peas that are sitting in the freezer, patiently waiting for their turn. And then after that, I also have celery to freeze dry. I think that's what I missed a lot from Thrive, was the celery, because I knew I couldn't refresh it and put peanut butter on it, but my gosh, it was so easy to make stuffing or, soups or that kind of thing with freeze-dried celery. It was really super simple. So I miss having it around. And so I have an entire load of celery going in. And then I might take a break. Probably not. But let's see. I've got 6 days until our window closes for our Azure order. And then it's normally like a week or so after that it gets delivered. So I want to say the first week in October, or the second week in October, I'll be getting my Azure order. And I ordered diced beets, and I also ordered diced sweet potatoes. So they did all the heavy lifting for me, and so I will be loading up trays like a crazy woman and getting those all freeze-dried. Because after the celery, I've pretty much freeze-dried the vegetables that I want to do from my freezer. I could be wrong. I'm not going to do the blueberries because I like blueberries the way they are. I'm not a big fan of freeze-dried blueberries, but I do have some strawberries in there that I might mess with, but then again, probably not, because again, I like them the way they are. So that is 4 not super loaded trays of peas. I probably could have thrown some extra on there, but like I said, I'm being particularly cautious after the thing with the zucchini. Now, if this is where I'm going to ask for people who have freeze dryers to chime in, because in my opinion, I think that the small is acceptable, but it is a process because it doesn't really hold a lot, as you can tell. So I'm thinking, honestly, that if I were to choose this again, I would choose a medium. and I would still get all of the extra trays. Absolutely. That allows me some setup and some pre-planning, and I have the space, so that it's kind of a smoother process. I feel like it's a smoother process. I don't know if it is, but I feel like it is. So I feel like by being able to do that, I'm finding my rhythm, if that makes any sense. So let me know if you have a freeze dryer, because a large or an extra large is not necessarily optional for some folks because of the power issue. Like me, I can't go bigger unless I'm going to hire an electrician, put in a new box and all that stuff. So the small and the medium are optimal for the electricity because it's just a basic 110. And as far as cost goes, the small is what, like $1,800 right now. So yeah, I get it. It's still a lot. But I think when I look at the cost of, these peas cost me time. That's all they cost me because I grew them. So because I have a garden, I can see that part is beneficial. I will be at some point freeze drying my garlic. It's going to be probably in about 2 weeks. I want to hit that golden spot in the calendar where uh, I can still have the window with a fan blowing out to exhaust the fumes, if you know what I mean. But I will be trying that. And then, of course, I saw somebody post and they had garlic explode inside their freeze dryer. That, yeah, not optimal, but they didn't pre-freeze it. So again, it's one of those things where, if you want the optimal results, then do what they tell you to do. Now, the cool part is, and I can't really show it to you, but you can download an app. And if you want to, you can hook the whole thing to Wi-Fi. I can't hook anything to Wi-Fi down there, so it's not an option. But you can connect it to Wi-Fi. I don't think it's any extra charge. And in the app, if you go to it, it will not only help you problem solve, but it will also help you with how to best set up and process the stuff that you're going to put into the freeze dryer. That to me is very, very helpful. I can look it up. I can find out whether or not something would be better if it's blanched, or not, and different things like that. It does recommend to pre-freeze it because it just shortens the freezing time in the freeze dryer itself and theoretically causes less problems. I think the only thing you don't have to pre-freeze is candy. And again, that's not an option for me, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, let's see. So we got the peppers dehydrated. It took almost a week to make that happen because of the various issues. And we got all of the cheese dehydrated, well, all of the Monterey Jack cheese dehydrated. And then we have started on peas, and after the peas, we'll be doing celery and all of that fun stuff. So I have been dealing with this machine for a couple of weeks now without reporting back to you guys. And sorry, but life, the whole thing with life. Anyway, so definitely the one thing that I did not pre-freeze was the cheese. And I had no issues at all. I expected it to take longer anyway. And so, I'm good. I just added on extra time out of severe caution. I'm probably just going to vacuum seal because I will dip into these much sooner than I will anything that was commercially done. It just makes more sense, honestly. And I'm still saving money because I don't have to buy anything for like a really long time, okay? Definitely read the manual. Keep the manual handy. Keep going over the manual. Super helpful. And for me, I don't know about anybody else. So I'm curious if anybody else out there has done this. I know some people have gotten an extra set of trays. I don't know of anybody that's gone so far as to get 3 extra sets of trays and lids, but it just works it works for me because I don't do anything in small quantities. And so that allows me to use and prep my large quantity to be able to funnel through. Theoretically, that's a whole week's worth of freeze drying stacked up in my freezer. That works for me. One less thing to think about. And by the time it's gone, I can fill that space again with my next project. It's going to be great. I'm going to have so much fun. Honest reflections of my freeze dryer. Okay. They say never. And yeah, I was taught that lesson. The frustration level that I had when it wasn't working was outstanding because it's kind of like my car. I don't ask much of my car. I don't even want it to look pretty, okay? I want my car to stop and start and get me to where I'm going when I want it to do it. That's all I ask of it. And I just want equipment that works and does what it's supposed to. This still requires quite a bit of interaction. So I have to remind myself that it's not just a machine doing the thing, and that it's different. And I'm learning, and I have to give myself a little grace. I'm not good at that. I'll be the first one to tell you. So poor Darce had to deal with listening to me go, why, why? But you know what? It's working great. It's working great. The food that I have put up would have cost me easily. Oh gosh, I have way over $500 worth of food if I had bought it commercially, stacked up. So yeah, considering I'm not literally doing it every single day, and it's not running every single day. I mean, I went most of a week without it running at all. So when you factor that in, it is starting to lean towards validating what the gentleman said, that it will pay for itself in a matter of months, just running it constantly and freeze drying it. And I have to agree. Once you get over the learning and once you just follow the rules, okay, it's not that hard, then yeah, I can totally see how this is kind of going to pay for itself. I can. And I will be freeze drying all kinds of fun stuff. So yeah, it's very hard because of the location of it. And, just everything's up here and that's down there and the back and forth. And I'm one person. So, it makes it kind of hard to film, but I'm hoping to at least catch glimpses here and there. And I'll be coming and visiting you guys more and more with it as we move along through the winter because I'm convinced it's going to get easier. It is. I'm going to find even more of my rhythm. I really am. So the challenges versus the rewards, I think it's good. It's good. Everything new that you learn is going to be some kind of challenge, right? And the reward is that it cost me practically nothing for all of that food that is put up. And it would have cost me $500 or more if I had bought it commercially freeze dried. Yeah. Okay. You got me. I'll admit it. I'll admit it. I may not be done saying choice words to the machine, but yeah, I think it has its place. I think it has its place in my preservation methods, especially now that I can't can anything right now, right? Yeah, exactly. For anybody that has had a freeze dryer for a while, do you remember what your first challenges were? Throw it in the comments section down below with the fixes, if you would. I appreciate it. And again, if you are on the fence about getting a freeze dryer, there's a few days left of this month and the sale is still going on. And I have a link down below. Of course, I appreciate your help and your support. And that's where I got the trays and the lids and, all of that fun stuff. So definitely check out the website and see what kind of trouble you can get into and come along on the freeze drying journey with me because I am already planning butternut squash. I am. I am. Yeah. Got to do it. I got to do it. Until next time, everybody, be safe. Keep stacking it to the rafters, my friends.